Boobays! Boobays!
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
I am so tired.
I feel your tiredness.
You're glowing though.
I'm thankfully not tired,
Mm.
but I don't want to rub that in your face.
You are so rubbing it in my
But
face.
it's the first time that I'm not tired.
That's true.
Honestly, I will probably still yawn,
What
but
is that?
it's medication.
Oh, okay.
Well, not it's Sudafed.
Oh.
If any of you can tell, my nose is a little stuffy this morning. This past week, after we recorded our last podcast, I was pretty much sick. After we saw each other last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
just went downhill. Sunday and Monday and Tuesday was just abysmal.
Yeah,
And I'm
Andrew
just
said
now-
you weren't feeling well.
Yeah, and I'm just now starting to feel
A-okay.
better, but my nose is still all stuffed up.
Boo.
Yeah,
Well,
I know.
Hello.
It gets a
though.
0 boo rating from me.
Boo. 0 boos for your nose.
Sickness, yes.
Yeah.
Hi. Back to it.
Hello. Welcome.
This is where are we at? What is this? We're in the lovely Rogue Media Network studio.
We're just jumping right to the end.
Just jumping in.
This is Boobays, though, and
This
I'm
is
Caitlin.
Boobays, yes.
And you're Joshua.
I'm Joshua.
There we go.
It's a little different.
It
And
is.
today I'm excited. We're gonna be we're supposed to have Corey with us again.
Yes,
But unfortunately schedules didn't.
quite aligned. So we're just going to go ahead and cover Escape Room 2 anyways.
But the spirit of Corey is here.
Yes, in the
Yes.
room with us. We have
Mhm.
summoned him. It's great.
I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
It's really here.
And so we're doing the Escape Room 2 Champion of Tournaments.
Tournament
Or
of
church-
Champions.
It kind of has a different ring.
Champion
that's,
of Tournaments.
That's the sequel after this one.
Yes.
Yes, because there will be multiple tournaments they've gone through. And then to really think about it, it is, I guess, a tournament, even though it's not really a tournament because they're not versus each other, but it is survival of the fittest.
Mm,
Well, that is kind of a tournament.
yeah.
That's wild, though. This movie, I feel especially kind of up to the ante.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Everything was a little bit more intense.
Right?
Some of the stuff I was like, damn. I think half my notes are just me going, oh, fuck, what? What the hell?
I love that. What does your hat say?
Swifty
Swifty.
from Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay. I just didn't get the
Yeah.
reference. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, is that a different way to say, you're a Taylor Swift fan?
See,
You're a Swifty?
some people have thought, well, because I think Taylor Swift fans are
They're
called Swifties.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, no. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I just can't
I
get
feel that.
really behind. I don't know. I just,
Taylor.
yeah.
It's the same
She's
thing.
got some. She's
No.
got some bops. Though.
Well, it's-
I appreciate
remember-
that.
I
I just will
remember-
not go out of my way to listen to
A
her.
few years back, they did this Icon Award or something on some award show where she came out and performed a lot of her hits, and it's the way I'm well, I recognize every single one of these songs.
Yeah.
I know half the lyrics, but yeah.
Oh
mhm.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if I
Our
probably
song
know.
is the I'm just kidding. Okay.
Song of the Slam and Swing.
Slam and swing doors, something like that.
Staying up late, tapping on your window.
When we're on the phone,
And
we
you
talk
talk
real
real
slow.
Because it's late and your mama don't know.
See, you're perfect. Okay, yes. So, Tournament of Champions. Did I say that right? That's fine.
Yes, you
Okay, that time. But yeah, up the ante. Same. Was it the same director? I didn't even look at it.
I don't know.
To be honest,
It happened in
I believe it
2021,
was.
though.
So it's the same director. It's the way I was kind of did they film these? I question did they film these back to back? But I looked it up, and I did see the director's name, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Mm.
They filmed it a year after.
A year after.
Right. They filmed it literally from December 2019 to the end of January 2020. So it's right before shit hit the fan
Oh,
with
so
the
they-
pandemic. They literally
They filmed it in 2 months.
Yeah.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
How?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on in the film. But no, I mean, if you think about it too, a lot of it I'm sure is
Pretty controlled sets, but then
and green screens and effects ish.
yeah, but getting everyone
Mm.
on board and getting perfect takes and I don't
I don't know.
know if all the takes were perfect.
Yeah, there were some certain scenes in this part where it was kind of
Some of
This-
the acting, I was like,
Not as good as the first.
Yeah.
yeah.
But as we start, it's got that nice little clicking song. I like
Yeah.
that. That's like a clock ticking down. And then we basically just get a trailer for the first film.
Yeah, it's a recap,
is
which I
what it
thought was
feels
kind of
like.
like, oh, I actually wrote that. I was like, oh, we get a recap of the first movie.
Yeah, I put, look, it's high-key just a trailer for the first film, and then I put, I actually maybe hate this.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was like, I don't need a recap.
Coming from maybe because
I
they're
thought
not
maybe
expecting
though.
that everybody is gonna watch them back to back, I guess. And when this came out, it had been like a year since the other one came out.
I was thinking maybe that we were viewing it through the eyes of the people who are paying, and it was like the trailer that they gave the people for the tournament, like for the last games and stuff. I don't know, to maybe get us back on board with Ben, and
that's a good.
But I don't know.
Idea.
I was like, maybe that's what they were going for, and I'm gonna.
Wasn't said that it wasn't, so we're gonna go with that
because otherwise.
But yeah, otherwise it was kind of unnecessary.
Yes. I mean, I liked the like getting a quote from the end of the first movie. I liked that. And then it just like really just recapped the whole first movie. And I was like, what? But whatever. But then we basically just get into Zozo reliving the rooms and therapy, going through it with her therapist.
Yeah. Kind of reliving everything that happened.
And then we get a scene that we didn't see in the first. I don't remember Amanda talking about her daughter. In the first film, I think that was an added scene that they put in. That like that was a moment that was private between them.
I think so. Yeah, I can't.
I could be entirely wrong.
I can't say for the life of me if it was in the first one or the second one. But I think at one point she did tell her.
I was just here. I was like, apparently Amanda has a daughter
when they were in that ice room.
Yeah. Because it flashed to that, and I was like, I don't remember that happening in the first film.
Either or, it's canonical, and so it happened, and so it kind of gives you even more of like a sense of at this point like she was really close with Amanda. She's having a hard time just understanding like how 1 second Amanda was alive and then the next second dead. More so I guess than the other guys. I mean, she's not talking about the other guys.
Yeah, she didn't care about them.
Yeah.
But Amanda was the one who like held her hand, calmed her down. Like her and Amanda had a nice little bond. Yeah. And she was like, she was my friend. And I was like, bitch, you knew her for like literally 12 hours.
Yeah, even after that. Like, who knows how long?
Probably only like 5. But I mean, I guess
what
being
an
in such
intense way to like get to know someone. Yeah.
To get a bond. Yeah.
Trauma bonding.
Real deep bond. But
and so, yeah, and then that's the way that the therapist is like, it's not my job to believe you. It's my job to help you get better.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's the way I'm already thinking like,
she's in on it.
This bitch is in on it.
Yeah, I had put this, like, she's a bitch ass therapist. She's not being receptive. And then I was like, immediately, she's in on it. And then I I was like, oh,
especially
I was right. She basically
like,
is in the games forever.
All this is a trigger.
And
that's crazy. The way that like she thought her life was already like to normal outside of it, but it was really like still being manipulated.
And they're the therapist was telling Zozo like that she is wanting to see everything as a clue, basically.
Like she's paranoid.
Yeah, and but she's not.
No, because they're
just
gaslighting
her, out of her,
literally to get her to fly in a fucking plane.
And so then the therapist asked her, what will it take to get you to fly, to finally get on the plane?
Yeah.
And at that point, you could see the desperation in the therapist's eyes.
Yeah.
And
she says,
that's when I was like, nah, she's for sure in on this. 1,000%.
And I love the like circle moment at the end. Won't talk about it now, but like, yeah, it's so cool.
Basically, Zoe says that in order to get her on that plane, she needs to know that like Minos is behind bars, has been captured, and that basically the people who have died are recognized, and then that the people responsible are
held, like, you know, accountable for their actions. And that Ben's okay.
Yes. But so then she leaves her therapy appointment and we get Ben. And then at this point I was suspecting Ben because of the conversation from the last one. And I was like, he made her go to the same therapist as him, but he didn't. Minos made them go to the same therapist.
Really?
Yeah.
The way they're setting everything up. And then I'm also like, so how is he like at her school now? Like he just like, because they didn't go to the same school or anything in the first movie, right? He's attending her school, right? That's what it seemed like. He was
They went to school together?
That was the school they were at, the college.
Oh, I thought that was just the therapist office.
Was it?
Maybe she's a school therapist. Well, then how would he go there? I don't know.
Anyways, never mind. Maybe I missed something or assumed something.
It did look like a school.
Yeah.
But then they basically are like let's drive. So then they get in the car. And at one point when he said I have a like,
what part?
As like a soft spot for people who've saved my life, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, they finna fuck?
Yeah, I know. He definitely had a little crush on her.
I said probably not, but it looked a little bit like it.
I don't, yeah.
When they get into that hotel room, is so awkward.
Yeah, it was very awkward. She definitely seems, though, like she sees him more as like a brother, a friend kind of situation, maybe. Oh. And he's more crushy than she is.
Well, he's definitely into her because she's hot as fuck. And smart as fuck. She's a badass bitch.
You know, it's guys and girls. I mean,
yeah. It happens.
You know.
But yeah, I mean, she does say like he's my best friend and stuff. So
a lot of times,
he could be.
Yeah.
He could be.
But I mean, at the end, when his life was on the line, she was kind of like you know, maybe someone who had more feelings than just a friend one. But I don't know. I'd be like,
I ship him.
I ship him too. I mean, yeah.
Let it happen. It was cute. And they can have their nice. They can soothe each other when they wake up from their PTSD dreams, which we have next.
They have a little sequence, Benjamin does, which I think it's kind of like the awake sequences that Zoe had in the first movie when she was just having like flashbacks.
Yeah. But how intense it was, I was at first, I thought it was maybe that. And then when the like ceiling started coming down and stuff and actually recreating that final room that Ben was in. Before he got out, the basically booby trap smooshy room. I was like, okay, this has to be a dream.
Yeah.
And
Thankfully
his head hit the pillow and he went right into it.
He woke up screaming, as we all do every morning, and realizing our existential existence. She's like, it's just a dream. It's okay. And obviously she's like, I have these. It's not. It's unspoken. It's like we have them. It's okay. It's our trauma. It'll be okay. Breathe. It's a dream. Forget about it. Yeah. And then after that, what happens there?
They literally just pull up to the place.
Yeah, and it's the way I'm thinking. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we're here.
Yeah, because I was like, whoa. They really just gonna pull up like
just pulled up like nothing. Like there's no security. There's nothing out there. They wouldn't think that maybe they should be more like elusive.
Yeah, I thought maybe they would park the car, down the street,
a mile away, walk up to it. Yeah, no, they literally pull up.
They just pull up right to the front gate
to like a loading dock area.
And she's like, it should be here. Blah blah blah. And I don't know. I was like, what?
A little like too easy. Which obviously they want that. Ish, right? But they were drawn there, and then there's a dude as Zoe's like, at that point I'm thinking this is a trap.
Yeah, Zoe she goes in like head first. She's
past the fence, past the like do not trespass shit.
Ben's like maybe we got one number in the address wrong. I was like, boy, she is a super genius. She did not get them numbers wrong.
She would not.
Like
she saved your life.
She's so smart.
And they run into this dude down there who's like pretending to be homeless, or maybe he is, but he ends up. Well, I mean, no, obviously he was set up there.
Yeah.
But he
because we see him getting
literally set. He steals Zoe's pocket watch.
Yeah. Necklace. So I thought it was a pocket watch. It's a compass.
Compass. That's what it is.
It's a compass. I wrote pocket watch here, and then at the end I was like, oh, it's definitely got that. And wait, isn't that what she pulls out of the polar bear's mouth? In the first one? Doesn't she pull out the compass?
A compass, but then she
north?
says later, like, my mom gave that to me. Right? That's weird.
Yeah, maybe they stole it in the first game, like before then, or maybe Zoe didn't bring it in the first game at all.
No, because she found it in the polar bear's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she took it out.
It looked like the same one. I don't know.
But in this sequel, they gave it the story of that it was her mother's and she gave it to her.
Yeah, because it was hanging like.
That's why it
but
meant
it also
so much.
I think it was hanging from her mom's neck when she was upside down in the plane.
That's right.
So did her mom give it to her? Or did she just like take it off her mom's dead body? Which I guess she would want her to have it.
She would.
Why would you wear a compass around your neck?
I don't know. Weird. That's really weird.
Maybe I did that when I was in that like in 2012 when. Or really? 2013 when like the Anorak jackets were in and that striped Old Navy t-shirt and just awful.
I miss
awful fashion.
I wasn't in on the trends in high school.
Oh.
We had
well you're glad.
Yeah. And we had a uniform our
really?
Junior and senior year. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty stupid. They implemented that our junior and senior year.
Is it still a thing?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. No. I think they got rid of
From
it.
a public school?
Yeah, it was stupid. It wasn't like a uniform that like they provided to us. It's like clothes that we had to wear. That was basically like you could only wear khakis and like polos,
Ew.
like blue, red, white, like kind of like very just basic shit.
I hate that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's traumatic.
yeah. It really was. It was a really horrible experience. We all hated it.
Yeah, I bet.
It made definitely like morale. Like nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, homeboy steals her compass, and they're chasing him, and they're going down through the subway. Zoe knocks into someone, and I was like, "Was that Amanda she knocked over?"
Bumping people the whole time
because she knocks over some girl with red hair. Looked very similar, red hair.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't notice that it was a red hair lady.
Yeah, I thought
because they bumped, and then they almost hit that other guy who's like assholes or whatever.
Damn kids.
Yeah.
I don't think he said that.
Hooligans. But yeah, he ends up leading them down to the subway. There's this whole chase scene, and they're really keeping up with him pretty fast. They get into the subway cars. He runs out. Obviously, the dude is on the outside, and they get trapped inside as the doors close. And then he's like, winks at them and does a little pump.
Drops the pocket watch in front. Well, he doesn't drop. I mean, it's a long chain.
Dangles it. Yeah, in front of him, kind of tauntingly. And then, and that's when we're on the train. He's like, "It's okay. We're gonna get off on this next stop. Whatever. A few minutes pass, and then
some Anastasia shit happens. The train uncouples and switches tracks, and we realize, well, fuck.
We're back in the game. And it's Zoe, Ben, and we have what?
We
4
also
new characters?
have so there's
Carlo? No.
We have Theo. Nate, Brianna, and Rachel.
There we go.
Yes. And
Theo doesn't last that long.
No, he doesn't.
So
he's sitting there talking on his phone with his wife, saying like, I'm gonna be there, don't worry, blah blah blah. So that's sad. But I just want to know how the fuck this motherfucker had cell service, because in the fucking subway tunnels in New York, there's no service.
No. Okay.
Unless you're at like one of the actual stations, but otherwise when you go in the tunnels, I mean, maybe he had a hotspot or something, and you can like
a Wi-Fi thing or something. Yeah. I don't know.
But
yeah,
I was just
it was crazy for a good while. He still had all that.
I know, he's sitting there talking to her for a long time, and I was like, no, I could not hold a phone call in New York on the tunnels. Like, I could play my word crossy game because it works off. That's what I play on airplanes.
Yeah.
So I played a lot of that, but nothing else would load.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
I don't know.
But I was also thinking the same thing. How does he still got service? And then the train's going through all that shit. It decoupled, and it's the way that when someone pushes the call button, right, to be like, hey, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And that's whenever we get the like little like welcome people.
So they crash.
That's right.
By the way.
Oh, yes, they crash. They hit that wall.
Yeah.
Thing.
I was like, they crashed
the way that
into
everybody
a
just like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Brianna hit her head
really hard.
Bad. I thought she was gonna be a little more fucked up. And then Ben and Zozo go flying.
Yeah.
Like quite literally.
There's really no way you can like minimize that impact.
No.
Because if you're on that end, you're gonna feel it. If you're on this end, you're gonna feel it. Like
no matter what, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
No amount of gripping onto the rail is really gonna save you at that point.
Yeah.
But yes, then they're like kind of pressing all the things, like trying to get out, and someone goes to hit that. Sorry. To hit the button.
Yeah,
and
the call button.
I was like, oh, the puzzle box is right there over the button.
Yeah.
So then we realize
this is part of the game.
I'm a little bit shocked that Zoe didn't notice that sooner. Like seeing it, and
yeah,
I don't know. She's so observant with everything, but
then I guess I get it too. Like after chasing some dude.
Yeah.
Your mom's saying, like, you're kind of like, she wasn't in that moment looking for the signs.
I feel like that would put me even more on red alert, knowing that I came here looking for that specifically, and then someone took something that, I mean, he could have taken anything. I don't know. To take that about all things, I feel like I would just be on high alert.
Yeah. that's just how you should live life.
Yeah. Paranoid always.
And
Yay.
so they are in there. They're all kind of freaking out. Of course, like I would be too. Like it's like not again. Like fuck. Like are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point we start having all the. Is that when the electrical shit starts happening?
Well, yeah. So Zoe says Minos did this, and then all of a sudden all of their ears perk up.
Because they're like, wait, did you say Minos?
Yeah, because they all just thought like they were in a random crash. We've got like the drunk guy who is Nate. We find out later is a priest.
Yeah.
And then Theo and Rachel and Brianna, and Rachel says it's a tournament of champions.
Yeah, I know. Title.
Bitch just calls it what it is.
Literally.
Roll credits.
I thought the same thing too. It's so funny. It's the way that it happened. Like, okay, there's no like, oh yeah, we got it. Because that's exactly what someone would think.
Yeah.
The title of the movie in about 2 minutes after, yeah.
That kind of cracked me up. I was just like, oh, okay, sure.
It's kind of cheesy.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot cheesy, corny. But whatever. We'll let them have it. But yes, they start electrifying all the metal surfaces, electrifying the whole train.
And this is where I realized, I'm like, okay, we're upping the. I feel like this is electricity. Like you can literally touch anything and die. That's a horrible way to go, getting electrocuted like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they have like these little. What are they? Hook.
It's the handles like hanging from the ceiling for you to hold on to.
Yeah.
Whenever the seats are all full. Typically it's just metal bars now, but I mean a lot of the times they still have
those little handles.
Those little handles, yeah.
And there's 26 of them, all to correlate with the letter of the alphabet, which we don't understand immediately, but it's the way that they understand that they have to like find all the like bad.
So the announcement that when they press the button says, please like keep your belongings close to you at all times. If you find a suspicious
yeah,
package,
don't be suspicious. If you find one that's suspicious,
report it, alert it, report it to the
bop it,
MTA,
lock it.
It's been a while since we made a bop it joke on here.
Yeah, and so it's due time.
It is.
And
MTA. I don't know if that's the correct.
Something like that though. They find the bag. The Nate does.
Yes. And the handle falls out. And at that point, I was like, I'm be worried this handle would electrocute them. And then of course it does.
We're already getting clues. They go to open up the front door where like I guess the someone who
to get to like the control panel.
The control panel, yeah, and that's where they see more clues, and that's where it tells them that they need to look at the false advertising that's in the subway cart, because there's a lot of advertising that's like missing letters, and
Theo's really smart with the leather belt, like getting in the way. It helps not conduct electricity.
It's a grounder or something like that.
Something like that. Anyways,
and so
he's
it's
smart
neutral.
with that.
And so they end up getting all these letters. Like they pull the little handlebars. Oh, it's the way that Rachel was like, A is green and red is Z, right? Would you have thought that? Because
No.
I would not have thought that.
I would not have. I also don't know how the fuck did Zoe count 26?
26 that fast in like a matter of
She was just like, it's 26, it's the alphabet. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because all we found from the Sands one, which we then get later, that Hourglass Beach or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It was missing what? The C?
Yeah.
Or it was missing either the C or the E. And I don't know. That wouldn't have clicked as fast as it did for me.
Oh, when they're in the sand beach room?
No. Well, so there's the first advertisement that
the
Ben
ads
thinks of is one for the Hourglass Beach.
Yeah.
So it's like basically telling him what room they're going to go into in a little bit.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing.
Yeah. And that just would not have
clicked,
come to my attention. And then the rubber lining in this bag was like a fucking, like the tubes that you go down the river on.
Yeah.
Like the thick ones that are meant to go over fucking
rocks. The way
rocks.
that she just like.
Yeah, and she tosses the keys and they explode. She's like, give me something to cut this with. And Theo's like, here, catch.
Just throws them.
Metal keys in a fucking electrified
She's like, can
room.
someone hand me some keys?
And Ben is like, here.
Yes. And yeah, it's just, I thought it was kind of funny too, the way that she cut it so easily. I thought I was like, well, that's not really believable. Because I don't remember rubber and shit being that like easy to just, is it, I guess? I don't know.
Not that rubber.
Right?
And also, that kind of rubber lining wouldn't have existed in a bag like that. Maybe if it was a like cooler.
Mm-hmm.
But
the way that it was,
typically I don't
take
know.
that, just have that.
Yeah.
It's
Like if the bag was a cooler. I don't know.
There was a way that they could have snuck something in there that was like.
I just thought, oh my God, what the hell just happened in my mouth? I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I just thought that maybe someone else, they'd just all start ripping off their belts or something.
Yeah, something.
Finding more leather, using something else. I wasn't expecting the bag.
Or for them to be giving something that like would help them such in a way like that.
Well, I mean, I guess they do want them to get out though, eventually. Or
they give them the options. They give them the chance.
Yes, they don't want to kill them all in the first room. That's no fun.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they want to see some torture porn.
Yeah, basically.
And so, they're poor Theo. Throughout the thick of this, gets what happens at some point? Somehow he grabs the bar for some reason. What is it? I don't remember.
So, there's lots of things happening. So they're basically, what they have to do is they have to pull the levers in the like correct. Well, they have to find the missing letters from each thing and then pull the handles to get a token for the subway train. And then they have to put those tokens in. And once they have to put 8, I think it was 8 believe. Of them. Yeah. And they are, once they put them in, it's like helping them count down the clock. However, Nate points out that it's more like a game of hangman, as you then see the correct letters being displayed on the little subway marquee.
Little prompter.
And basically, I think there's double letters at Extra Point where it was like, they were like, this one has an extra M. Yeah. And then a missing letter here. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the extra letters were bad because every time they pulled that, it got a little more intense. The electrifying did. And then fucking Zoe's recording that
the whole time because she's like, I need to get proof. And I'm thinking, oh my God, girl, put the phone down. Not in this room.
Yeah. So basically at this point, they've pulled some levers that have made it harder and harder. And
there's just electricity, like currents zapping everywhere.
Yes. So the electricity has gotten much more intense. And right as Theo looks at the last sign that has the last clues that they need, it has the last 3. Yeah, something happens. It explodes. He goes to brace himself on the pole, and then he just...
Yeah, and because he's obviously getting electrocuted, he can't let go of it.
Yeah, his body's tensed up.
Yeah, so it's like he's basically killing himself.
Yeah,
on accident.
Just getting fucking cooked.
Yeah.
Which... What happened to him in the first one that made his eardrums explode?
They said something. He said something. Oh my God, I don't remember. They put him in a submarine.
Oh, submarine.
And the pressure, like made his ear.
I feel like it was kind of a similar enough, like death. I don't know. Poor him.
And he was in like a metal, like kind of tube.
And stuck underground.
Yeah, so
stuck in a like thing he could not get out of.
Yeah,
which is very scary. Anyways, it was his wife's birthday and he died. Happy birthday to her.
R.I.P. Theo. We are sorry, Theo. And so that's Rachel goes to check on him. That's the way she's like, he's dead. I'm like, we all know that. And then
clearly, if he survived that, I'd be in.
And then the clock's counting down, the electricity is going wild, and it's the way at this point, because Theo was the only one that saw those last remaining 3 letters.
And then the poster burnt up,
so they couldn't find out.
The ones we needed were W, B, and O.
And I love how Zoe's just like, it's WBO, like. Well,
because she's seeing on the little prompter.
So she's kind of like at that point. What's that one show where you have to guess?
The Price is Right. No, that's
The Price. The Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, where you guess what's on the marquee.
Yeah. But so basically, it is that game of hangman, as Nate said, and you can very clearly see that it says welcome back.
Yeah.
That the last 3 letters missing were the W, the C, or the B, and the O. So then she's just like basically do that, and Ben trusts her because he's like, why the fuck not? And they pull the last 3, and it basically opens that hatch that they had found in the beginning.
Oh, on the floor. Yeah.
Opens it up, and they all jump in, which I was
That's
like
so
scared
scary
because
of jumping into a hatch on the floor and you just don't know what you're going to jump into.
well, also it looked like they had electrified the tracks too, so I was thinking, oh my god, they're going to jump right to their death. Just going to get
like a little bug zapper. Yeah.
As soon as they jump through, but
that'd be a horrible way to go.
they didn't. They jumped into
An elevator.
I thought, oh, very Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, very much so. And so they're down in the elevator.
It was scary.
They're all kind of like, yeah, because it's like dark and just like red lights and it's all metally and kind of like a cage. And then, you know, of course, I think Nate is the one and Zoe and everyone except Rachel is like, oh my God, Theo died. And Rachel's just like, that's the name of the game. We got to keep going.
Basically,
whatever.
I mean, yeah, she's our Jason.
Yeah.
But not as much of a dick. She actually has a heart. But basically, someone asked, did we even know his name?
Yeah.
And none of them did.
And so they give each other their names. They're introducing to each other, to themselves and us as well. And that's whenever Zoe's trying to figure out, like, why were y'all in your, like, respective tournaments. And so then we get to find out that, like, Nate was a priest and he was with all priests and
wanted to see if faith helped you survive.
Brianna was influencers.
Yeah.
Which was funny. I was like, is it just all rooms are mirrors?
Yeah. I think it was Ben who was like, what the fuck? But then, yeah, with the last room being exploding mirrors for her, I was oh, that's so scary and harsh. And then it also kind of reminded me of Us, you know, when they go down.
Oh yeah, when she goes into the other place with all the people in the underground area. Yeah.
I don't know.
but yes, that's a horrible way, and we don't figure out Rachel's just quite yet. But then Ben and Zoe did, you know, talk about how they were the only survivors in theirs. And so, which is kind of funny that, like, they came from their room was only survivors. They were the only one survivor left of their tragedies, but yet 2 people survived from that tragedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And then anyways, then we have the elevator just yeeting down. And they kind of don't know where they're going at this point. And they're just like, well, they got to play the game. So after that point, they go into what room is next?
It's the Art Deco Bank of Death.
Oh, the Art Deco Bank. That's right.
I put, ooh, love me a goddamn Art Deco Bank of Death.
It was really cool. It was really nice.
So cute.
The flooring, the walls, everything. Yeah.
I just like Art Deco stuff, though.
It's true.
But yes, so then we get in there, and clearly it looks like their escape is on the other side through the vault. They're like, why would that vault be just open?
Yeah.
And they question it immediately, as they should. And then Brianna takes a step.
And almost gets herself killed. Because
almost kills some other people too.
Yeah, because
they were closer.
They step on the some of the tiles on the floor, they go down and it activates lasers that just start beaming through the whole freaking bank.
And they zap you. Zap.
Yes, they. I told you still. I was gonna yawn. I told you one. And so, anyways, yeah, it's which is really crazy. It's like almost, you know, like
every spy movie ever.
Every spy movie, and then like Resident Evil. That's what I was, because I just watched it recently.
Oh, right.
That zoom, and it like cuts them into little pieces.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Imagine if it was moving. That'd be horrible. There's no way to survive that.
No, I would just cut myself right
off. Runs into it. Literally.
Hey, it'd be a fast death.
It really would. And so anyways, yeah, they have to help her like maneuver her body out of it, and then they get the little lasers turned off, and that's when they figure out that, or it's Nate, right? Because he's like, there's
Nate
the lollipop bowl.
The lollipops.
There's a key attached to one of the lollipops.
A little bank lollipop key. Fitting, because banks always give out them lollipops.
That's true.
The ladies at the bank loved me.
They do. Oh, they used to give you the which ones?
The citrus flavored ones. The orange and lemon and stuff, and the lime.
Oh my God, y'all love those.
Yeah. So every time that my brothers and I would come to the bank, they'd be like, "Here you go," and they'd offload all of citrus flavored lollipops that none of the other kids wanted.
They saved them for y'all.
Yeah,
that's
they just
cute.
give them to us. Because, yeah, all the other kids
little
wanted, like,
dum-dums.
cherries.
They would be
stuff.
dum-dums, right?
Yeah, some of these, they were in, like, that plastic square.
Ah, yeah. I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, where it's just
the little
clear,
round, flat
unmarked.
lollipops. Yeah.
That's what a lot of them were.
Or, like, do you ever have the ones that didn't have the stick, but, like, it was, like, a little ring, like
a ring pop?
No, not like a ring pop, but, like, it was, like, the same things that the sticks are made out of, but they're, like, more, like, it looked like they were more, like...
Swirly?
Not swirly. What I'm trying to say is, like, it was like like this, like attached to a lollipop. Like it would be like a little
like a U.
A U, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I did have some of those.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't know
how
many
why
lollipops
that's really
I've ever had.
And so anyways, they figure out that they open up this little vault. They figure out that they have to. Nate goes to the whatchamacallit.
They have to. They figure out that the keys open up the safety deposit box that are on the wall. Will open up one of them. Mm-hmm. Now there's
multiple ones.
So many. Yeah. There's so many. And then they realize that there's another key. And so they use it on either side of the tiled floor are I guess, where tellers would be to help you. And so you get over, and then the safety deposit boxes are there. And they're going through, but they're like, well, there's so many, we don't even know what to look for.
And they all say the same name, right? Sonia?
Yes, they do. And
at that point, we don't really kind of quite figure out what it means.
Quite yet. Mm-hmm. And then, but then that's when Nate walks over to the ATM.
Yes, that's right.
And it basically says, enter a PIN and something about payment following the death of a loved one. Mm-hmm. Enter this PIN to collect or something like that. And that's when they then realize that there's one named Sonia, while the rest of them are all numbered. Yeah. This one has a name. And then there is a corresponding one on the other side as well that Rachel and Brianna are going through.
Yeah.
And so, they open those up, and out of the one that Ben and Zozo are in,
that's right,
falls
the numbers.
A bunch of diamonds. Really sharp diamonds.
I'm really trying to remember this part. Yes. Yeah. All the diamonds. I remember. Yeah.
It just kind of rains out, and then Zoe goes to pick one up, and it cuts her immediately.
Yeah.
So real sharp. And then whenever Brianna and Rachel, forgot her name for half a second, open theirs, they find
the tube.
2 stacks of blank bills.
I swear I watched this movie. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's okay. I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
So
I watched it on Friday
night. But yeah, so they find the blank money, and then they realize, like, what is it called when you collect money after death?
Oh,
basically. Yeah. And so they put 2 and 2 together, blood money, and they're like, oh, I am bleeding from the razor sharp diamond. So they're like, throw the blood money over there. But Rachel tries to hop on the counter.
And she hops on the counter, and that's when they realize that the corner parts of the counter are also activating the lasers.
Well, it happened when they unlocked the boxes. The counter raised up, which made it a trigger.
Yeah.
It wasn't before, because they hopped over it just fine to begin with.
Well, and then they hop over again whenever they have to save Nate.
Yeah, I guess, it's just the rounded end.
Yeah. So.
But they don't, because the rounded end gets them to the safe part of the tile. All the other flat ones get them to the tiles that could activate the lasers.
True.
So
that makes sense.
They know they wouldn't hop over that part of it. And so they had to make it like that. But yeah.
Booby trap.
So then basically, once they get the blank bills over to Ben and Zoe, they rub her little blood on it.
That's so bad.
And they get kind of like when you would, use the penny or something, and you'd put the paper over it and you'd trace the penny, and it'd leave the indentation or whatever. 0526. They get those numbers showing through with the blood.
May 26th.
And they realize, okay, that's the pin.
Yeah.
And so he puts it in.
And that's whenever
the clocks all stop.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you have like the New York, the London, the Tokyo clocks or whatever, like the 3 main.
Yeah, so they stop.
And then he reads another clue. Or someone reads a clue.
Yeah. So they then put together that the times on the clock or how they need to move across the tiles. So the hour and stuff is how many they need to move forward, and then the minute hand is like to the right or the left.
How many steps to the left or right?
Yeah.
Depending on which way it's going.
I guess, yeah. If it's like
on the 9 side or on the 3 side, which is right or left. Yeah.
Yeah. They figure out that basically the whole bank is set up like
and it's the way that I'm just like, I would be so dead by this point.
I would have
figured all this shit out. Like,
I would have been dead in the first room.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even made it to the Tournament of Champions.
To put all these things together.
I would have been dead in the first movie.
To put all this shit together in the matter of like What? Because in that last,
it's 8 minutes.
Yeah,
they
and
have
then
8 minutes.
and then in the last part of it, they literally have like 1 minute, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, how are you gonna get everybody through in 1 minute? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But so as he gets close enough, at one point he steps on a tile and it activates, but it doesn't activate lasers, and a little safe opens.
That's right.
Then, and then, or I guess a picture opens or something, and there's a safe behind it. The safe itself isn't open.
The one that Brianna is like, oh, there's a safe over here, and then we need. I think at that point they're trying to find. They need another. They think they need another, like a 3-digit code or something to unlock it. But then we realize because
that it's like a riddle that shows up on the tile, and it says, "Money makes the world turn."
Yeah.
Basically, don't let it stop. And so
that's when she realizes.
Well, not quite yet. At this
that's
point,
right.
Nate's being a fucking asshole and is like,
because he's gonna let his faith lead him.
Yeah. And Ben was like, your God's not gonna spare me. Like, fucking stop. Because he was just going and being like, oh, this is it. And like leading himself over it. And he's like, this is why I was spared. And I was like, no, it's not, motherfucker. You're literally putting everyone at risk. What the hell are you doing?
So he's just guessing, and he gets at least 2 of them right. But then it's the third one that he's like activates the lasers and gets like knocked out, because it doesn't, I guess from him trying to like avoid getting lasered, right?
Yeah.
He ends up bashing his head on the back of the counter.
Yeah, and he falls down and he's sitting on the trigger. And so basically they're like, we have to get him off the trigger to even continue. So then he's on, I can't even remember their names. He's on Rachel and
Brianna's side.
Yes, and they pick him up onto the counter, deactivating the lasers.
Save his life.
Yes, and then
she's able to then turn. They're like, wait, what did it say? And then she turns the thing, and then it pops out a little tube, and that's when the tube has what does it have inside of it?
It has like a
that's right.
The layout.
Like whenever you remember in school when you would have the projector, and they would like be marked in red or blue or whatever, clear sheets, and so it's for them to put over the little layout they have that maps out the room, and so they're able to figure out which tiles on the other side
and Zoe's side, so they have to chunk that little thing over.
And by this time they only have a minute, and so it's the way Zoe's like gonna sacrifice herself. She's like, y'all go, I'll try to get be behind y'all, but she directs them on how to get out of there.
And this whole time they were leaving a candy trail.
Yeah,
we didn't mention that.
Yeah,
but what's his face was leaving lollipops, and so they
knew half of one way, and then it gave them the rest of the way. And then at that point, then they all get out, but then Zoe's like running,
she barely
almost makes it. She almost dies, and then they make it into the next room.
Yeah, Gringotts.
Basically, yeah. It did.
I was like, that's where they are. But then, the place starts collapsing. They're breathing for like half a second.
Yeah,
and then like,
because it's like, I guess it's underground, but it's not. Like and
cave.
So like cave starts caving in. It might not even be. It's just like probably set up that way. Are they even real rocks?
Probably
not.
So they're just styrofoam,
literally,
like in Scream.
And then and then they run out and they end up going into the beach.
I said, look, it's like that place
Hourglass
Corey talked about,
and
with the pirate ship, the real one.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And we're back. So yeah, they end up in the beach room that was foreshadowed in the subway cart from earlier. Hourglass, right? What is it called?
Hourglass Beach or something like that. And so yeah, it reminded me of that room that Corey talked about, the one that's in
NOLA?
New Orleans.
New Orleans, yes,
or somewhere in Louisiana.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's cool. And even all of them are just basically like, whoa, this is some next level shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Because even them, I think, I don't know if you noticed too. Did you notice how like at first, and they do it in every room in the next room too, that like at first when you're viewing it with them as they're stepping into it, it's like super real and like
surreal and it looks like so like wow. But then like as soon as they realize that it's fake, it looks more fake. To you. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I think this one was also really triggered by that camera flash.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay, that's
because
true.
then I think it was made to make it look more like a picturesque kind of
okay.
like they said it literally looks like a postcard.
Yeah.
Because they find a Polaroid camera on the ground and basically it says it will last longer on the camera, and so the phrase "take a picture" it will last longer.
Yeah.
So they prompted takes a picture and
Takes a picture, and that's when they see that there's like a boat that's on the image of the picture, but it's not on the image of the wall. So basically, they then start looking for that boat, right?
yeah, yeah, and it had a phrase on the back of it that also prompted. I think it said something about an anchor. It was.
I had to find that anchor.
Yeah, it was saying like lay your anchor somewhere here or some shit. I don't know, at Hourglass Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they're all sitting there freaking out, trying to figure out. They're like, clearly they're going to drown us. And then Ben's like, it's landmines.
Yeah, he keeps saying landmines.
But then we
That's the name of
find
the
out
sand. You never at
whenever-
that point you don't know anything, so it could be.
No, but yeah,
And
they
so-
figure that out though, and they start looking, and then
You see
we
this
see
the what is the
Camera.
camera? Yeah.
you see the camera start sinking, and so we realize it's a quicksand sort of situation. Probably not actual quicksand. It's just more of like
Things are getting sucked into the
sucked
sand.
into the floor. Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Which is so crazy.
and then they find the boat, and on the side it says "Blind Love," and Ben is like the Bon Jovi song, and fucking Brianna is like, Ben figured it out, you guys.
Yeah.
Minos is Bon Jovi. I was
Literally.
like, this bitch. It was funny.
Because in that moment you're just like, really now. And so, but also too, I guess you kind of need that humor to get yourself through those kind of situations.
I'd be deflecting that way.
Mhm.
1000%.
And so, yeah, and they're on the beach. They're looking. It's the way that they then find the anchor, right? Or no,
So-
they find that thing and the stuff, and
metal
the metal
detector.
detector and all that shit. They put it together, and it's not like she's like, why is it still on my face? And so then they start looking for the anchor, and then they find it in the sand, right?
Yeah, and they pass a mannequin with seashells over her
which
eyes.
does come
and
to play a little later.
looking at, and then a little smaller girl mannequin looking up with like
Yeah.
kind of
They were
fear
weird.
in her mind,
Mm-hmm.
or in her eyes is what it looked like.
Mm.
I liked the seashell eye mannequin. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
cool. And then Zoe even uncovers like there's an SOS written in the sand under the towel because
Mm-hmm.
Zoe's sitting there investigating a little bit more, and I was like, maybe we should be looking more.
At these clues.
Yeah, paying attention to what Zoe is looking
Yeah.
at. I don't know, because she's the smartest
smart one.
one.
She's been getting everybody throughout.
Yeah.
Everything.
But then they do find the anchor, and they're starting to pull it up, and
Mm-hmm.
it almost looks like a game of tug of war.
Yeah.
And they're trying to pull it out, and then the rope snaps, basically. And then
At that point, yeah. It snaps. They are stuck with the anchor, but then it's like that's when they start realizing all the sand is starting to go into the bottom of the whatever crap. And so then Rachel, with her dumb ass, steps back into the sand. I'm like, why are you going more into the sand? And gets sucked into the sand. And that's whenever they're like freaking out.
I wasn't expecting Rachel to die next, but
Yeah.
she doesn't.
Yeah,
so.
because then she goes into the sand, but then we have Father Nutsack, who ends up tying the rope around his waist, and then and it's funny because right before Rachel goes into the fucking sand, you see how Brianna throws her the life thing, and it like lands like good job, Brianna. It like lands right in front of her fingers, and it's like, oh, you couldn't have thrown it just a little bit with more force. And so then Father, the priest, goes down after her, and it's the way that she then starts coming back up. But as soon as they get Rachel out, and then they're trying to get him out, the little like
The rope snaps
rope
again.
just like, but it looked like a little explosion.
It did,
Like,
I thought
and
it like, or like
incinerated.
someone shot
Yeah.
it, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely purposefully snapped there.
And then priest falls into the sand, and that's the end of Nate.
that we know of.
And then right, and
Because
then
he very well could be alive still.
and so they are all freaking out, of course, and then they go into the
And I put, there we go. That's who I was expecting next. I was expecting Nate to die there.
and then they end up going into the like a little crab shack thing that's behind them.
They use the anchor to put it into, there was like a
Porthole door.
it was like a little I don't know that word. Like a little emblem that was indented, and they put the anchor into it and twist it, and then it opens the door.
Basically a key.
For a giant anchor-sized key. And they put it in, and it allows them into a seafood restaurant filled with putrid seafood. Yummy. All nasty, rotting crabs.
Yes.
Love
so
that.
Gross.
I can only imagine how awful.
The smell.
It had to have smelled so bad.
All steamy.
Ugh, gross.
And so they're in there. They're trying to find the next clue. That's whenever they look on the little post on the column, right? And they see that light tower.
Yeah. Zoe finds that the light switch looks like the lighthouse that is outside. And so she switches it, and then basically everything kind of, I feel like it shakes. And they're thinking, okay, we have to get out through this, what is a fucking fridge? And they were thinking we have to get out through the fridge. So they're looking for a plug.
Yeah.
But then Zoe's like, something has to do with this lighthouse. So she goes up to the lighthouse. The switch basically turns at nighttime. The lighthouse starts going, and then rungs like of a ladder pop out of the lighthouse. So she can climb up it and look on the telescope that they had noticed earlier, but weren't really sure how to get there because there were no ladder rungs until now.
Until they come out.
Yeah. And she gets up there, and she's like focuses the telescope on the words, I can't see you, but see spelled SEA, like the sea.
The sea.
And as then they're going and looking, and Ben's like trying to figure it out, Zoe notices something behind her that it was a moon, right? It was imitating the moon.
It was a moon, yeah. Yeah.
The moon.
There's like a little, like, she could tell, like, there's a little opening here, like there's something behind this.
A backlit.
Yeah.
It was backlit. And she finds a key on the telescope, or not a key,
it's
a
like
tool.
A tool, it's like a screwdriver almost.
Yeah. Just quite literally allows her to unscrew the thing. So this one had multiple ways you could escape.
To get out, yeah.
And I think it was very intentional. Like,
meant to confuse them, meant to like probably deter them,
separate them, but also not.
But they end up going to the same spot. But maybe it was just another ploy to get Ben at that point separated from her.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And because then Ben puts 2 and 2 together. I can't see you, and he's like, "Oh fuck the mannequin."
Yeah.
So he runs over to the mannequin, and he's trying to get it, and he finds the plug
out of
Yes.
Out of her eye that was covered with the seashell.
And I was like, I'm so scared for Ben.
And so then he takes it back to the girls that are in the little shack, and then he's trying to get what's her face to go back over there, Zoe. But then she's like, no, I found another way. And so at that point, they're like,
the way out.
And so then Rachel goes and follows her, and then
the fridge was their exit. Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
They had to just plug it in.
Yeah. And so Ben is at the door, or Ben's his name, right? Ben is the one that's screaming at Brianna, and he's like, we got to go out this way. But Brianna's like, no, the door's right here. And it's the way, if he would have just gone up and been screaming at the lighthouse all the time, he could have made it. But he's taking his time, like trying to save everybody.
Trying to get, Brianna, he didn't want them to split up.
Yeah.
And Rachel caves pretty easily, and she's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go with them. Because Ben is basically like, she saved my life before. I'm going to trust whatever the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
And Rachel is like, okay. And then Brianna is just, she's really not for it. But then she puts her head into it, and it's mirrors again.
Yeah.
And there. And so I was just like, oh, fuck, girl. No, I would have ran the other way immediately. But at that point, it was too late.
Well, because she did try to go after them.
Yeah, she did, but the door closed.
And then she had and then all the whole room
place
was
literally is collapsing,
eating itself.
Yeah.
And so, she has to go through that only exit. And we don't see Brianna for a minute, but then we see Rachel and, the most important, crucial part, I feel like, Ben runs back to then go with Zoe and Rachel, but as he's climbing up the fucking ladders, they start coming in, retracting. And of course, he doesn't make it. And he falls into the sand, and we watch Zoe watch him die.
Yep. At this point, I was like, no, not Ben.
Yeah, because at that point, you really think like, damn, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And I was like, oh, man, that fucking sucked. I was sad. But then Zoe gets through and she's having like a hardcore pity party. Like, this is my fault, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bitch, we don't got time for a pity party.
Don't.
It's very much like when they
like
get
this like in between section of rooms, it looks almost.
Yeah. And it reminded me of when they get to the triage room in the first one and they're rehashing their trauma. And I'm like, we don't have time for this. You're literally, you're not safe. You're not safe. But yes, they are in
some.
Oh, and so she's basically Rachel's calming her down, being like, she was like, he didn't want to come back. And Rachel's like, well, none of us chose to come back.
Yeah.
But they all got us there.
Yeah. Minos would have found some way.
Yeah. She said they would have found you for sure. And then this is where we find out what her room or people were.
They can't feel pain.
Yeah. She has some sort of micro deletion in her genes and can't feel physical pain. And I was like, is that real?
Yeah, some people don't.
Oh, yeah, because she burns her hand in the putrid seafood restaurant, and she just kind of goes, oh, shit. Kind of looks at it, and I was like, okay, she's staying remarkably calm for that.
Yeah.
But I didn't really question it then.
Have you seen, like, there's, I think it was there's a TikTok guy, and he's not from America. I think he's from, like, Indonesia or whatever, but like, he doesn't feel pain too, like, the receptors, and it's literally, like, cooking food and, like, putting his hand in like oil, like fucking burning, like oil, like hot oil, like just picking up fries,
Jesus
shit food,
Christ.
fried fish, like that, like nothing.
Okay,
like,
just because you don't feel pain, why would you do that though? That's like
and
damaging
his
your
hand
whole.
wasn't even like.
It wasn't melting or nothing.
No,
So you're telling me I can put my hand?
Superhuman? Yeah. Some people are superhuman.
Oh, that's. Because okay, yeah. So later on, at one point, I'm like, how are Rachel's hands not falling off?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know, but yeah. So then they are hearing sounds of. It sounds like a city.
It sounds like a city. It sounds like they're escaped because at this point they think that they think that they escaped the game and that they found an exit, and so they're like trying to leave the building, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna make it through. They go through what they think is like what are those things called on the bottom of the streets?
Manhole.
A manhole.
How they escape.
I love manholes.
Yes, you do.
And so then they go through the manhole and they think, and this was another part where I thought like because that, and then they also it looked really real, but then as soon as they realize that it's not real, you can tell like those are walls and those are videos.
I put what a good fake room. I was like, it made them look like they were. I thought they were safe for half a second because I really at first was like, no, don't fucking trust that.
Yeah,
and then. But then I thought it was going to be like paid actors because it looked so real. I was like, oh, these people are all in on it.
Oh.
And then it was just a fucking TV screen.
Yeah.
Really well.
Like 4K all around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
super good.
Because then we have as soon as they like get up and they're like, oh yeah, we're safe. Brianna runs up. She's like, no, don't let it close. And then obviously closes. And then they are trapped in there. And that's when you realize, fuck, we're still in the game. And they don't have long. It's like a minute and 30 seconds.
Like relief to then just have it smashed down. I would have rather not ever felt safe.
Yeah.
For just a second.
Like the fuckery of it all. And then they only have like a minute and some seconds because then at that point they notice that she's burned and she's letting them, Brianna, and she's letting them know that like.
She's so casually like, it rains acid when the time runs out.
Literally. Yeah. And then they have to figure out like one of the clues.
No, she's basically, we don't have time for filler. She's like, this is a fucking facts. Let's go.
Yeah. And which before then,
and
I
this
wonder
is where
how
I start putting, fuck, what the hell? Like, Jesus Christ. That's
the ante.
Good.
It's up.
Yes.
And so, what a way to go. And so then they find out a clue. I don't remember. Remind me. It's the way that I don't remember all these clues.
They are going, and they're looking. There's a storefront, basically, that has one of those almost garage-like doors that you'd have on like a storage unit or something that you have to unlock and then you lift up.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we got to find a key. So Brianna's looking for a key. She goes up the fire escape for some reason. There was some sort of thing that prompts her to go up there. The lady was holding a key, and then there was something else. She finds the key up there, though, brings it down, and it unlocks that, but then the store itself is still locked. And while they're looking in there, this TV screen comes on.
That's right.
And it says something about people are starting to collect their rainwater because of blah, blah, blah. It's been a chain reaction.
And then it's the way that at this point I'm like, Rachel, how do you know this? Rachel's like, there are certain plastics that don't melt by certain acids or heat or whatever. So
maybe because she's...
What was she?
I don't know. Maybe she was like trying to Maybe she was maybe she's putting her hand in oil, and then
Maybe.
like messing around with different plastics.
Yeah, maybe she knows.
Yeah, I don't know what her real life job
is.
was.
And so she could be like a scientist or something, an engineer. And so then they find a ketchup bottle that did not burn. And so they use that to collect some of the acid because they need to put it on the lock.
PMP,
Yeah.
polyethylene, blah, blah, blah.
It's the blah, blah, blah. And then they use that to collect the acid and they put it
Official
on the
name.
lock.
Yay, ketchup bottle saves the day.
That's on the phone booth. And because the phone's ringing,
That's
they have to
where
answer the phone.
they put 2 and 2 together. Chain reaction. We have to melt the chain after they collect the rain.
And so they do get that open.
And this is where I put, damn, how are Rachel's hands not falling off? Because she just, she's like kind of touching
everything
the
that has
acid a
acid
lot.
on it.
Yeah. And she's swishing this ketchup bottle around.
It's
That's
the
got.
same thing. I guess if you can't feel pain, you can't disintegrate.
So is it our body's reactions to things just a
mind thing, and just because we know it's
we're
hurting,
not actually
like,
hurt, and then we just bleed?
This is all a simulation.
We're not supposed to think this much.
This is all a simulation.
The Matrix.
It is. And so
It's too
there's
early.
men in black coats like standing outside the door.
Normalizer.
And so they end up getting that open. They get in there, at least Brianna and Rachel do, and then that's whenever why was Zoe not in there? I forget. She was doing something else.
She was trying to look at the cab to see if there was some way they
That's
could get
right.
in. And then
They get closed in there.
they do, but right before they do, they hand, because time is about to run out, and Zoe's like, we can't all fit in there.
Yeah.
And they hand Zoe this umbrella.
I was in there.
And as she opens it, on the inside, it's like a clear plastic umbrella too. So it's like, oh fuck. Well, I was really hoping it was made of the PMP.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. It starts melting. But it had a sign that said pawn shop. So she looks over there, and then there's a little thing that says 3 rings.
Yeah.
And so
She knows that by that time, pick up the phone, hang it up, and answer it on the 3rd ring.
on the 3rd ring. And so when they do,
It opens up the car door, the taxi cab door, in the nick of time, because then the acid starts pouring down. Or no,
it had
it's already
corroded
still
through
her
the umbrella.
Yeah.
She makes it in just barely before it starts like cooking her.
And
But
then it turns off again, and it's the way that then Rachel and what's-her-face try to run towards her, but then as soon as they get to her, the car door slams closed.
and it's locked.
And so then they're like freaking out because then also the phone booth closes in on itself. And so
And
basically
all
it's
of the
unwinnable.
awnings, all of the awnings have been eaten through at this
Yeah.
point. And clearly there was no keys that they had found yet that
I
was
was
going to
watching
save
this
them
with,
in time.
with Robert, and Robert kept yelling, "Why didn't they like go under the car?" But then I'm thinking like, there's probably like a drain pool. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there was nothing for them to get under. Maybe it was because it's a fake car. Obviously, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it had a false bottom that drops her into the next room.
Yeah, so maybe there wasn't a part for them to slide under. But yeah, it's kind of sucks for them because it really didn't give them any type of chance. Like they were
No.
just and it's the
And
way
then-
that Rachel's like, don't give them the satisfaction. Like just die, I guess, proud.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I
pretty
just
brutal.
put, Rachel, what the fuck? And then, like, you literally just see them get burned to death. It looks like when you.
I guess the good thing for Rachel is that like she didn't feel it to a certain
Yeah,
degree.
but
I'm sure she did
Brianna
at a certain
did.
point, but yeah, Brianna felt it all.
And then also, they just like, like when you
They just,
spray OxyClean on blood.
Yeah,
And it starts like
yeah,
like kind of bubbling up and
Yeah.
turning white. That's what their bodies did.
yeah. It was a little.
And they just went. It
And
looked
then
like
we-
steam, and then it was
yeah.
just gone. But yeah, the false bottom
And then we have Zoe
in a
who
creepy child room.
falls into this room. It's child room. She sees the name Sonia again. There's a bear. It's got a camera in it.
I was like, who the fuck is Sonia?
And then it's the way she's trying to put it all together. She sees on the she finds a diary. What do you?
Yeah. So you see the pictures of the little girl hung up, and then you can't see the mom's face. And I was like,
scratched out.
oh, it's the redhead she bumped into in the subway station.
But at
What?
this point, you didn't think it was Amanda, right?
Yeah, I didn't think it was Amanda. I thought, okay, so I thought I was wrong at the beginning with her bumping into that redhead. I thought it wasn't Amanda, but I wonder if she bumped into actually Sonia. But I can't imagine that that was a grown ass woman that she bumped into.
Yeah, no, this
So
was
it
supposed to be
couldn't have
still a
been
little
Sonia.
kid. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, ooh, it's the person she bumped into. But no, I do think she bumped into Amanda there. I don't know. And then, but whenever she picks it up and starts reading the diary, because yeah, she finds a diary.
And she remembers what Amanda told her.
Yeah, because it says,
Word for word.
It's basically saying, today we went to, like, we got on the subway and then we went to the bank and I got a lollipop and then we went to the beach and blah, blah, blah. And mommy told me that if you keep something close to your heart, they're never really gone or some shit like that. And then that's when this, I have all caps, is Amanda the goddamn game master? What the fuck?
Literally.
And then, yeah, Amanda, bloop.
Amanda is, because she pops out. And then she's basically just like crying. I had no choice. Like, they made me do it. They're holding my daughter. I had to create a room. What better create a room to get you here than, because ultimately Minos wanted to get Zoe there because she had defeated their whatever game system, and they want her to create a room. And so they had Amanda
Basically an unbeatable room.
Yeah, and Amanda created this room to trap Zoe. And anyways, kind of full circle. Kind of feel bad for everybody. But then
kidnapped her daughter. And
yeah.
that's so fucking, jeez, like that's so.
Going through all that,
wouldn't
finding out your
expect-
daughter's kidnapped. I mean, you probably would do the same thing too. Like, okay, I'll
Yeah,
play the
yeah.
game. And so then she's basically just like, you need to do it. And so he's like, I won't do it for anything. I will never be evil. I'll never be like you. And then obviously they show Ben in this room behind her, and they start filling it up with water to like incentivize her. Like, well, if you don't do it, then Ben's gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically Amanda had told her to, she was like, if you didn't see it, it didn't happen. And so that's when you're like, okay, Ben could be alive. And then I was like, so Nate probably isn't dead either, nor Danny.
I don't know.
I
They're
was like,
probably
it'd be
dead.
kind of interesting if Danny came back in the third.
Danny. Oh, Danny. No, I'm pretty sure he drowned, but we never know.
I mean, his body, like, they just show that you see him get sucked under, but then at the end, you don't ever really see him. You just see, like, hands and a face. Like, so it'd be interesting if
he was still alive.
to have someone who's obsessed with escape rooms. Like, I feel like he would design
Yeah.
them 110%.
Yeah. Or why didn't they bring Amanda and Danny back?
I don't know. Maybe Danny's the third one.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe Danny.
Mastermind.
Yeah. Maybe
Um,
he was the puzzle maker the whole time.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's very true.
And like we were saying
like
in the last
first one, yeah,
in
we
the-
thought he could have been on it.
like the grandpa in Squid Games.
Very true.
Player
And
one.
So then so we then see Ben, unfortunately again, on the other side of this glass tank wall thing.
And he's in, it looks like one of those elevators they were in earlier.
Yeah.
Basically a metal cage.
And they start filling it up with water. And they're freaking out. Ben's it's funny because at first Ben was like, don't do it, don't do anything for them. And then he's like, get me out of here, get me out of
Yeah.
here. It's like, oh my gosh, what do you want, Ben? Because the only way she's going to get you out of there, she agrees to play the game. She kind of does. Because then she notices or comes up with the plan that there's that heater or whatever, the gas line, whatever.
Yeah, there's a gas line connecting to a little furnace. And I was like, at this point, I was like, Amanda, you designed the goddamn room. Get them out. Like,
Yeah, right.
Are they going to kill Amanda in her own room? Like, fucking sick.
Probably.
Yeah. But,
Then we
she
used
rips
her.
it from the line.
She hoists it
Or the
towards
wall.
the glass and then gets a lighter. And that's whenever she's like, of course, because she has to explain out loud what she's doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't get it.
And unlike her, we got her breathe, bitch, in the first one, and then in this one we get, I'm gonna burn all you fuckers to the ground.
Yeah, one of her main little lines. And then she lights it on fire, and it's like, because the gas is coming through, it's like, what did she say? Glass expands under heat, or metal expands under heat. And so
she's basically banking on exploding the wall, and then a lot of the fire being extinguished from
the water
fire.
that's in this room. Yes.
Yes.
That Ben is about to get drowned in.
And thankfully
it does.
it does.
And he comes through, puts out the fire. They realize that then the water is pooling. There's like a little stream, a drain.
Yeah.
And so then they break the wall. They go through.
And
Amanda,
it's like in a little storage
Ben,
room.
and Zoe. It's and it's a little storage room. And
So
then
you see little remnants of all of the games in there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It's a huge area too.
Oh, I was like, what does this mean? They realize that the door is starting to close. Yes, it is. It's like a warehouse.
A warehouse, yeah.
And they realize that the again, one of those like garage doors is basically closing, and
And they
they
have to
all
run through
like
it.
baseball slide through it. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, they're all hella
three
good at
of
them
them.
baseball
Mhm.
slides.
I would not have been able. I don't know how to baseball slide.
Yeah, I don't either. I would have been like, and I just get stuck on like I would have
Literally.
just fallen.
And so they make it through, thankfully.
And then there is an 8-ball on
Yeah.
the wall. And I was like, ooh, it was a little sign.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was one of the graffitis at the beginning that we didn't notice.
Maybe if you rewatch it, there's
Yeah.
little signs throughout everything.
Because there was graffiti there that I remember going like, huh, thinking at it for like 1 second, but I'm wondering if it showed it and we just missed it.
everything means everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they make it through.
And then I was like, oh wow, they're actually getting them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, because then it shows a little montage of them being at the police station.
And
it shows
a
the
news
news
segment.
segment of like crime ring, Minos Operation Ring getting pulled down. You know, there are
these
raids all
people.
across America right now.
Believed that they were going into some escape rooms and they're recovering 4 bodies from this one. And yeah, they believe that
There's a
we have
whole
3
news.
survivors.
Yeah,
But then the guy who comes up to Zoe to hand back her compass is really creepy. His inflection was all wrong.
Yeah.
And it felt like he was starting in the middle of sentences. And then his name, I forgot what it was, but it sounded like free will.
Oh, okay.
The way like that
I
he
didn't
said
even hear
it,
it.
it was like, it basically sounded like free will. It was like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but I didn't rewind it because I was like, I got to get here.
Yeah.
But the way he said it, I'm wondering what it was spelled out as now. I'm curious. I'll have to go back and look.
Look it up. And then so then
guess we
we
could look at the
have
cast.
them. Zoe's like, oh, now I want to fly home or something, or I want to fly back home because she's now that we went through all that. Why not? I need to conquer this fear. I need to get flying. And then we have them getting on a plane, and it's the way that she's on the plane, and then she realizes that she's gonna go to the restroom because she's already questioning. Like she's telling me, it was so easy. Why would it be so easy to do this and do that?
Yeah.
And Ben's kind of just like chill.
And
Like
man,
we
if
made
I was
it.
her also
Yeah.
going back on a plane for the first time, I would
Yeah.
be drugged to fucking high heavens. I
Oh.
would basically have horse tranquilizers in
But
me.
Zoe doesn't do drugs.
Well, she should.
Maybe it would have kept her out of going through all this. And so
Yes.
then we have them going through that shit and going through it over again in her head. And he's kind of like, just chill. And so she's like, I'm going to go use the restroom. And so she gets up, and that's when she realizes that there's this lady sitting down, and she looks exactly like the fucking therapist
I was
from
like,
the
ooh,
beginning
the
of the
fucking
movie.
therapist, bitch. I said I goddamn knew it.
And so
But it's not her.
It's not her. It's someone who looks like her. But the lady has all the things that the therapist showed her in the beginning, saying like, "You
The
this was a
pen,
sign.
the
This
purse,
was a sign. This
the
was
book
a sign
that said
A
free
clue."
will.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so then
And I
that's
put,
whenever
ooh,
Zoe realizes like,
damn.
fuck, it's not over. And then
They
the
played her like a
voice-
goddamn fiddle.
The voice on the intercom is like, "Thank you for flying me no sir."
It
Welcome
says,
back.
it says the games only end when we say it ends.
Yeah.
Thank you for flying me no air. Yeah, it was kind of funny, but I was also like, ooh. And then so we finally get the plane crash room that happens that they simulated in the first
In the first one, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, and it does leave it entirely open for a third one.
Yeah.
There is.
The third one probably opens up in the plane. But I mean, it'd be cool if they did it. I'd watch it, honestly.
If it doesn't open up on the plane, I'm gonna be
Pretty pissed.
pretty pissed.
I need to see that happening.
Who the fuck is Isabel Furman, who plays Claire? Who the fuck is Claire? I don't remember anyone named Claire.
I don't remember anyone named Claire
Why
right
is
now.
what's her face not the top person?
build person?
Rachel Ellis? Oh, she looks completely different in her picture here. What the hell? Oh, someone actually plays Sonia. Wait, she's a grown ass woman. I'm confused. Why is
Well, we never see her.
well, I
Unless
know,
you
but
count the
I mean, unless
pictures.
she was the person who got knocked over. Why is
You really
Zoe
want
not
you
a-
really want Sonia to be the person she knocked out. You really want this person to mean something. It's the way
do.
I don't even remember
Oh,
her
look,
running
there's
into a
another
redhead.
person named Claire who is younger. What? Okay, where is Zoe? Why is she not on this
Are
cast
you on the
list?
Are you on the right one?
Escape Room Tournament of Champions cast.
I
Because
saw
it's
her.
got Brianna,
Uh-huh.
Logan, or Ben. It's got Theo. It's got Rachel. It's got Nate.
That's weird. I don't know.
So confused. I don't think that's right. Cast 26. I'm trying to find that guy's name. Okay, now she's on here. Oh
So my boo rating,
yeah, how many boo ratings would you give this?
I would give it a 3.
A 3?
Yeah, right in the middle. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm so neutral.
I keep saying young Claire. Who the fuck is young Claire? I'm so confused.
I don't know. But yeah, what's your boo rating?
Oh, he's not on here. Why do you give it 3 though?
I give it 3 because overall, like, I wasn't dissatisfied or like super like blown away. I did like that. It's slightly under the 3. I gave it 3.5 for champion for the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little slightly under, just because I feel like the first one had better characters arcing because like you got to really know everybody a little bit more, I guess, and you kind of felt like the stakes were like in the essence of like I really don't want these people to die. And this one you didn't really necessarily get that. I feel like with Brianna and Rachel, but also too.
I mean, I was sad that they died.
Yeah, it was more
It was
heavily
such a
focused.
sad death.
It was more heavily focused on like obviously Zoe, because it's like about her.
Yeah.
But,
Zoe quite literally is the main character.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Visually, I liked it. I liked the rooms. I thought the rooms were super cool. I thought the clues were super cool. Even though I don't remember half of them, and I don't remember them because it's like I don't know them. Like I wouldn't be able to solve that. So it's just like it's like
no, not at all. All
so I'm
that
just
shit
like,
would have
yeah.
gone right over my head.
Yeah. So
That's the hardest level of escape rooms. That when they let you go in and you can pick your levels. That one's code breaker level.
I think it's just more so.
The room doesn't even
It's a good
exist
story,
anymore.
and I would be open to watch a third. So
Yeah.
So right in the middle, solid 3.
Yeah, I think I'd also give it a 3. Maybe no.
2.89.
Yeah, 2.75. I give
There you
3.75, 2.75. I did like the rooms; they were really cool. The bank one,
Mm-hmm.
like as I loved the bar,
The
the
Art
billiard
Deco.
room, and the first one. The bank one
Yeah.
was my favorite room. That was really cool, and it was neat to see how they upped the stakes. But then, like you said, yeah, you don't really get as much of a connection. The influencer one was kind of like really silly. I don't know. I was really confused with
Yeah.
Brianna's whole character in general.
I think they just wanted like a bigger name into it too, because at that point, I think she is a bigger name and kind of attached to it.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I would have
her
been
name.
curious to see, or I wonder if Theo was maybe one of the athletes. I don't know. I wouldn't, because like they mentioned the athletes
Yeah, that's
being
true.
in
He
the first
seemed
one.
pretty athletic.
He was, yeah. I mean, he's pretty well built.
Who knows?
But yeah, I don't know. It would have been kind of the faith one, like that made sense. Like the priest, that made perfect sense. I was like, that would have been a pretty interesting movie. I would still watch that.
Yeah.
And then, but the influencer one, like, like as Ben quite literally points out,
Like,
it's
how would
pretty
they even-
fucking dumb.
Yeah. How would
Yeah.
they even like do that?
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. Still, 89-minute watch.
Yeah,
not bad.
super digestible.
Yeah.
And it's
I,
pretty fast paced the entire time. So you're never like gonna like there's a boring little lulling
No.
moments or anything.
And I'm excited that Amanda was alive and that
Yeah.
Ben's alive. Well, for now.
Well, you know, for now.
And yeah, I mean, I would watch it. I want to watch the third one when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it'll be good.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't start on the fucking plane, I'm going to be mad.
You heard it here first, folks.
First. So we got a 3 and a 2 point. What did I give it?
8.75
2.75. That's right. 2.75
for Escape Room Champion of Tournaments.
Tournament of Champions from 2021.
Yes.
But as always, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios.
Mhm.
They're taking care of us this morning. And
We are on wherever you could find your lovely podcast, wherever you like to listen, right?
yeah, wherever you like to listen. The biggest ones being Apple Podcasts.
We're on Spotify,
And then you can also find us and all of the other Rogue Media Network podcasts on.
roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And then wherever you do listen, just don't forget to rate
Review,
and subscribe.
subscribe,
'Cause
because
that
that's
is-
the only way.
Yes,
We
that
can
we can
make
get ahead.
I almost said it like you. And yeah, I think that's
You can
what
also
else?
follow
Yes.
along on Instagram with us. And when we sometimes post, we might be getting a little
You
bit of
know,
help with
yes.
that. Actually, I
Oh.
have some news for you.
Okay.
But that, yeah.
We'll be on Instagram at Boobays Podcast, all one word, and that's BOOBAES, because we are your Boobays, not your Boobabes.
That's right. And until next time,
Bye, bays.
bye, babes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.